Good evening, everybody, or good morning from wherever you're coming in today. Welcome to the Noble Manhattan USA East Coast Coaching Support Group. I'm trying to advance my slideshow and it appears to be stuck. Oh, here we go. So Noble Manhattan is Europe's leading coaching training company and was established in 1993 by Gerard O'Donovan. The Noble Manhattan Coach Training is now available in over 29 countries, and Noble Manhattan has trained over 25,000 coaches worldwide. We are an extension of Noble Manhattan as a coach support group. So anybody that would like to become a coach, that is a coach, or is just interested in coaching, is curious about coaching, is welcome to join our coaching support group meetings. My name is Beatrice Phillips. I'm the team lead, and then we have our other coaches, Petra Butler, Maria Tiram, Michael Vasconez, and Emily Thompson, and our ambassador, Susan Chester, with us here tonight. And we're here to support you later on as we go into our breakout rooms. So first, we're going to make introductions of our speaker tonight. He's going to give a presentation, a little talk. There will be a time for question and answer session. And then we take a short break and go into the breakout rooms, which will be explained at the end of the session. So what's the purpose of us meeting here today? So the coaching support group is here to discuss and exchange and share information on best practices on coaching, and also to motivate and inspire just for us, all of us, as we go through life, especially in these times. So we provide that support and the motivation, and especially in the breakout rooms. Now we are recording the session here, but once we go into breakout room, the recording will be stopped and everything will be safe and private. So just to let you know, while our speaker is speaking, you have buttons on the bottom. So please stay muted unless you want to ask a question. You might want to put it in the chat first, but you can always give us reactions like thumbs up or a clap. As you see, there's no thumbs down, which is a good thing. So we appreciate that. All righty, and then we're gonna move on. And then Emily, please go ahead, take it from here.
Okay, I am excited to introduce our speaker today, Michael Vasconez. Michael earned a lifestyle medicine certification from the Hippocrates Health Institute and a life coaching diploma from Noble Manhattan USA. He is an accredited practitioner coach through the International Authority for Professional Coaching and Mentoring. A few staples in his life for stabilization are the steady practice and study of Ashtanga Yoga, mentorship from one of the closest people in his life, Taita Pedro, who is a traditional indigenous ancestral doctor and continuing his education. Michael continues to seek self-improvement because he lives under the understanding that a candle's light can only be as strong as the size of the flame. And now I would like to hand it off to Michael. Oh, you're muted, Michael. Unmute yourself.
Boom, there I go. All right. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us tonight. And thank you, Emily and Beatrice, my good friends and coaches. So what I would like to share with you tonight is something that I modified in a way, and a concept that I brought into my life, and it turned into a program and an internal tool that I have used to grow and evolve. And I hope that you will take this as just an element of something that is moldable, like a piece of clay. So I don't want to hand you the tool. This is something for you to mold into your own tool. And before I get started and start my presentation, the originating concept that I'll be speaking on tonight is found in this book called the Kabbalion. This is an ancient esoteric book written by the ancient Hermes in Egypt, and the information was lost for a very long time. It's essentially physics in a very they almost call it quantum mechanics or quantum physics, but it was written thousands of years ago. And this book is, in my opinion, it takes a long time to get through. You'll read maybe one paragraph, and you have to put it down for a little bit until you integrate it and understand it. And then I came across this book called Divine Magic. And this book essentially makes it a little more easier to understand and bring these concepts into reality a little more. And then I took it a step further, and I wanted to make it something coachable. And it's something that I would like to present to you, and just to show you kind of the ocean, and it's up to you to really dive into it. You'll be able to take this concept and really run with it. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here. Boom. All right, here we go. So I titled this, Change Your Life in One Step. Creating inertia in life to bring about your highest self. And I am going to open up my chat window here. So if there's anything that you guys would like to comment on, I would like you to be very, very interactive with me throughout this presentation. It's not something like wait to the end for questions. I really want you guys to just type in there your thoughts or anything as I'm going through it, something that you may learn, or like a light bulb moment for you, or a suggestion, or something you don't agree with, even anything that you want to put in there. A question, please ask. Okay, I really would like this to be integrative. All right. Yes, Larice, I look forward to presenting this to you. So please, everybody, just get engaged. Take a moment to kind of snap in. You know, we can put our cell phones down. We can leave all the distractions at home. So let's just take a moment to kind of possibly just focus a little bit and kind of get into the learning mode. All right. Here we go. So as I stated, that my transformation, this is a tool and a step. The tool comes a little later, but this step that I'm going to speak on is a step that I used in transforming myself from the man that you see on the one side of the screen holding devices that aren't very, how do I say this, congruent to health and a happy life. And the man on the other end is who I am now. And as I stated, on the one side, it was a life filled with pain, suffering, sickness, fear, and I was extremely lost. I served in the military, and coming out of that state of being, I had to integrate and change into who I am now. Otherwise, I can really say with all honesty, I would have been lost in a very deep way from the essence of life and the essence of happiness and anything to find joy in my life. And I replaced all those, I would say, one end of the spectrum qualities of life with happiness, love, healing, release, and gratitude. And the release is a big one, because there was a moment in my life where I literally the person who I was, and I stepped into a new state of being. So this is the type of person that I am, and the coaching that I bring is a transformational coaching. I work within the state of being. So I really want us to understand that this transformational step and this tool that I'm going to discuss tonight, it's about entering into a state of being. It's not about doing and accomplishing and all these things that the world puts on us, and you know, these huge goals that we set and all these different things. It's really about being and allowing the general potential of what's in us and what is found inside of us to come and bear fruit in our life. And then from there, we move forward. So, all right. Now, this step is extremely easy. It is extremely simple, and it is overlooked immensely. It's like something that's right in front of our eyes, and all it is a change in perception. And it's forgotten, and it's underestimated. It's greatly underestimated. And once again, this step that I took in my life is found in all the esoteric knowledge. And when I say esoteric, that's like the ancient knowledge that kind of has been washed away and kind of it's been changed to whoever's talking about it, and we all have our different opinions on it. Many religions even talk about this, but they put it into a box per se. But let's just wash away all the preconceived notions that we have about things. And it's really dialing it down to the simplicity of it. It's very simple, and it just takes a little bit of focus, and it's like a seed being planted in your mind, and when we flower it, it blossoms. Or when we water it, it turns into a flower and blossoms, okay? So this one step, these are the things that it did for me. It allowed transformation to not only take hold in my life, but also start. Many of us, we want to change. We want to lose weight. We want to stop smoking. We want to change bad habits. But how do we make it start? We can force it. We can try it. We can set schedules. We can set all these things. But how do we change the internal nature of our essence to what really the foundation of change is? And when we have these deep-rooted, how do I say it, like thorns that we want to pull out of our skin per se, it can take a lot of work in the beginning. But once we get that inertia moving, that inertia is what takes over, and then we just kind of guide the inertia. I'm sure we've all seen in the Olympics or these strongman competitions, these really strong guys pushing a vehicle, right? And once they get that vehicle going, like they're pushing a bus, you know, and it's like in the first 5 minutes, they're pushing the bus and the bus isn't moving. And then all of a sudden the wheels start to turn and the bus starts moving. And then this big, massive guy is just jogging behind the bus, keeping the bus moving. And that's what it's about. That is how change is started. It's that initial changing of inertia. And then the inertia we guide, and we can transform the inertia, but it's getting it moving. This step supported me in the total dismantling of my psyche. And it really, really allowed spirit to come into my life. And when I say spirit, I mean it in a very broad, general essence of just love and total control over my actions. So we can replace spirit with however you view life and however you want to use that word, but it's a very broad nature in that word. And it allowed my inner guidance system to really kick in. I entered into a place in my life where I could trust myself. And if there's a gift in this world that I want to show people, it's being able to trust yourself. Because for so long, my decisions were affecting me in a very negative way. They were affecting other people in a negative way. But when we start to tap into our inner guidance system, our intuition, our true intuition, then our choices begin to really have a positive effect on us and the people around us. And there's a flow that this intuition happens. It's like a river of life that flows through us. And this step just absolutely allowed all these things to take hold into my life. So I would like a few of you to just tap in that chat to make sure that you're here with me. Just send me a little feedback about what I've been talking about. Let me know that you're there. And I'm going to keep on going, but just send me a yes, a keep going, anything that you're thinking about in this moment, and I'm going to keep on going. What is this one step that I've been talking about? Okay, what is it? Okay. Here is this one step. Choice. Choice. And I have below that big word on the screen, choice. Not choosing what to change, but allowing change to happen. So what do I mean by this? I'm going to use an example of getting healthy, because it's a huge thing in the world right now. I want to get healthy. I want to lose weight. I want to eat better. maybe life isn't ready for you to eat better, and maybe life isn't ready for you to lose weight. Maybe life isn't ready for you to do what you think you want to do. But allowing health to happen in your life, it's a totally different perspective than choosing something. It's essentially falling into a slight state of surrender and saying, I want to get healthy. I don't know how it's going to happen. I quite don't know exactly what to do. All I know is that I want change to happen in this way. And even a cursor before I want to get healthy, it's even a choice of wanting to change. And then health may not be the first thing that you're going to tackle. It might be something else. Because remember, I talked about something that later on in this thing I'm going to tie into. It's a tool, but the generative potential within you, which is what wants to happen within you. It's surrendering the ego, letting go of the attachment to what we want to happen or what we think we want to happen. Okay. And if you look over here, and I'm just going to tap in here. We got Cedric, we have Tina, we have Chris, Susan. All right, you guys are with me. Awesome. Thanks for the feedback. It energizes me. Every time you guys tap in there, it's like a little power up for me. Okay. So thank you for that. Now I'm boosted up, ready to go again. Okay. Past, present, and future. I have pyramids there because pyramids are like building, right? We all kind of look at the pyramids. It's a perfect picture of building something. The past, present, and future. If you want to look at the past, look at yourself right now. You are an accumulation of your choices up until this point. So there's no reason to look in the past. You know, many say, oh, the past doesn't exist. You know, all we have is the now, and there's all this like new stuff about now, being in the present moment. That's very true. But just think about it. All your choices have led you up into who you are right now. So the building blocks of who you are now are all the past choices. Everything that's led you up into who you are now. And if you want to look at your future, which is where anxiety and anxiousness and all this stuff lies, just look at your choices right now. The anxiousness in your life will completely disappear the more aware of every single one of your choices you are right now. It's like shooting an arrow, right? Boom. I shot an arrow. Shoom. It's going to land. There's one thing we can count on. It's going to land. Now, I can either be anxious that that arrow is going to land somewhere where I don't want it to land, or I can be knowing that that is going to hit my target. If I aim and I focus and I'm aware of what I'm doing, I can let go of that arrow, forget about it, forget all about that arrow. It's going to land where I want it to go. But if I was sloppy and I just let it go, I'm going to worry about that arrow until the consequences of it landing happens. So if you want to see your future, look at your choices right now. You're firing arrows every single choice. Every time we eat, every time we think, every time we do something, you're building what we call the future in a linear sense. And part of what I'm talking about even does take it beyond that there is no linear. You know, us as human beings, we think of things so linear. Past, present, you know, depression, anxiety now. But all we have is this moment and what we're experiencing. So this choice is your building block of your existence. You have to understand that this choice is your full control of your life. It is like the clay, the concrete, everything that we have to make whatever you want. If you want a pyramid, make a pyramid. If you want a house that's going to fall down in a windstorm, then you can build that. But if you want a house that'll withstand anything, you can build that. All we have to realize is to allow what wants to happen in our life and make the most aware choices that we can make. But the first step is allowing the change to happen. And I hope I'm portraying this clear enough to you guys so you can take hold of this tool that I'm about to come up onto here, okay? So the concept of choice and allowance. Okay? Allowance is the state of being. It's allowing the choice, it's allowing the change. Okay? And this is going to tie into where we're going. So understanding this is understanding the relationship of your choice to your life, okay, which is that arrow concept I talked about, and making the choice as your own, 100% your choice. Sometimes we like to tie our choices in with other people, but it's yours. It's your life. It's allowing what wants to happen into you, into your state of being, and accept everything. Accept things the way that they are and allow yourself to be in the current state of things the way that they are. So many times people, when I coach them or when I work with people, every time that we connect into a space to move forward or to be in a state of being, it's really wherever they choose, they always go, but I want it to be like this, or I wish it was like this. Just accept in the state that you're in now, and you'll see how much more power you have over your choice when that happens. Take a deep look at your life and feel the consequences. That's pretty understandable in that fact. One thing that really woke me up is I look at the consequences of my choices in far greater depth than I ever did my entire life. And it's a true blessing to be able to do that, because it happens instantly. It's like, you know, if you're going to punch a wall, it's going to hurt your hand, right? How many people do you know, they get angry and they punch a wall and then they're pissed off for like 6 months that they punched the wall? Well, every single choice we make, we buy a new car, we make these decisions to automatically have that internal state of awareness within us that we see the choice and we see the consequence like deeper than we did before. It takes practice. Okay? And once again, the tool that I'm about to bring up here will help you guys with this. So, my family, and I call you my family because if you guys, you know, just a little bit about me, okay? Thank you, John B. You've been awakening to my intuition lately. It is something. Yes, your intuition is everything, and it is something that is how it's like universal communication. Intuition is the deepest thing. It's a blessing to be aware of, and we must trust it. So the purpose of, I was talking. I said a little bit about me is this is how I view the world. Okay, I look at us as a entire human family, because if you think about how small the world is compared to the universe, compared to the universes out in the universe and all the stars and the suns, you know, we're like a blip of existence. And to look at us as separate, it just doesn't make sense to me. So I see how small the world is, and I see how small the human race is, and you know, we really are a family. And if we come together into a higher awareness, we really can change the world. And I've come across some information that it says if 1% of us change, 1%, it will change the face of the planet. Okay, just 1% of us. So the purpose of this presentation is to help you in the process of change, transformation, and evolutions. So I ask you, do you choose? Do you choose? The tool. All right, I've been mentioning this tool. Now, let's just take a moment, because I'm gonna do a visualization exercise with all of you. So I want us to tap into the inner imagination. Okay, I want us to really like allow us to be able to work with our minds in a visual inner way. Okay, work with the mind's eye, they call it. All right, we've all heard that third eye. You know, all the yoga studios call it one thing. Some people call it another. It's our internal imaginary state. It's like that place of that we can see inside of ourselves and without these eyes. Okay, we're going to go there. So this is a tool. The levers of your reality. Okay, I'm going to explain. Now I chose these levers, but you can switch these levers out for anything that you choose for your own reality. Now, this tool will help you transform and evolve. But like I said, in the beginning of learning a new tool, we got to use it. If we've never used a hammer before, the first time that you go to put a nail into a board, it looks ridiculous. But if you look at a carpenter that's been using a hammer for 30 years, you don't even understand how they do it. I've seen 70-year-old men hanging off the side of buildings, slamming a 3-inch nail into a wall with one swing. Okay? We got to learn to use the tools and with our own perception. Okay? So I want you all to come with me here on this ride. All right? We have 5 levers in our reality. And I would like you to close your mind, close your eyes. Close your eyes and go into your mind. Okay? And now open them again. Take a look at these levers here. Now close your eyes again. Okay, now keep your eyes closed and just listen to me. We have 5 levers like you just saw on the screen inside of your mind. We have one that represents communication, one that represents internal reality. So it could be anything about your internal nature that you want to change. It could be anything about your communication that you want to change. We have external, which is our physical reality, you know, like maybe a dirty house, a dirty car, our clothes, the way we treat ourselves on the outside, our appearance a little bit maybe. Anything external. Our relationships. Could be any relationship. Relationship with yourself, relationship with your wife, husband, family, friends, anybody. And health. So please, continue with your eyes closed, and I want you to think about these levers inside your mind, okay? And I want you to imagine these levers inside your mind. We're just going to start with 5. Communication, internal, external, relationship, and health. And I want you to label them inside your mind, 5 levers. And I want you to push the dials all the way to the top. Now, you can use this as a tool to program your reality. So if I want to work on communication in my life, my communication might not be the best with one member of my family. Okay? Or maybe my internal might not be that good with I have self-doubt about myself. My external, my house is a mess. My car is a mess. My fridge is a mess. My relationships, you can be specific with this, but I'm just giving you a framework to build around. Okay, you can please open your eyes again, and we're gonna dive a little deeper into that. I just wanted you to touch base with kind of imprinting this into the mind. Okay. Now, what do your levers look like? Okay, they could look like anything. They could look like dials. They could look like this little white guy pushing up this lever here. They could look like those other levers like in a video game, or you could have like this whole board, like what I got going on here. It could be anything. It could be like an old, those levers in the dams with weights, if you're like old school about it. It could be anything that your mind goes to. Okay. If you're a musician, it might look like a dial on a guitar or like a piano dial. It could be anything. Okay. So the first key is to pick a lever, pick a style, get that image in your mind. Okay. Now, we're going to work with communication for tonight, just because I chose that. And controlling your communication in life will free up a great amount of energy. And I want you to think about someone in your life, okay? Someone that you have something to say to. There's someone in your life that there's a conversation you want to have that you've been putting off for a long time. It could be for 10 years, it could be for a year, it could be for a week, but there's something in your life that you want to say to somebody. It could be telling a lie. There was a moment in my life I came out for like an entire year and I told the complete fabrication of untruth that I was living for like 10 years. And it was the most liberating thing I've ever experienced in my life. And then I went through a phase where I told people how much I love them and I expressed love to them on a very sincere level. So it could be so many things. It could be somebody that hurt you and you want to express to them and get clear to them what exactly happened within the relationship. But there's something in your life where communication is going to free up a lot of energy, okay? There's no doubt, like I haven't come across anybody that doesn't have it yet. So you can express, I have an 80-year-old grandmother. I think about all the time that I don't sincerely tell her how much I love her, okay? It could be anything. It could be something that you wish you would have said. It could be a lie that you said 10 years ago that is still bubbling up underneath. It could be a coworker. You want to express to them that you're there to help them. If your heart is guided to do it, it will free up an immense amount of energy. So I want you to program that into your lever. That is the communication. The who, what, where, and when is that lever tonight. So please program it into that lever. Okay? So now when you look at the lever, if you haven't said that communication, the lever might not be at 100%, right? It might be, we check in on the lever. It's like, where am I in this stage of communication with this person? If I'm at like 70%, that means I'm kind of close to getting this conversation there. Some people might look at the lever and it's way down low. Okay? But we're going to put that and we're going to push that lever all the way to the top. And we're going to make this communication happen. So I would like you to tell me in the chat that you have something in mind about what I'm talking about, that you have a communication set in your mind that you may understand. Please just send me a yes, a thumbs up, good to go, anything you have going on that you have something that I'm talking about. Thank you, Tina. Awesome. I'm energized again. I have enough energy to push to the next slide. Okay. Thank you, Emily. All right. Now, communications. Once again, make the lever align with your visual perception, which means just because my lever looks like this does not mean your lever will. Thank you, Cedric. I got you. Once the lever is programmed, scan it into the mind's eye. Program this communication, the who, what, where, and why, into your lever and push it to the top. If the lever doesn't seem to go up or stay up, because it does happen, there's something blocking it. And if we stay in the space, you will learn what the block is. It will come to you. This tool works with your intuition. So as John B said in the chat, he's been awakening to his intuition. This tool will grow with your intuition. It will help grow it and it will work with it simultaneously. Now, when the lever is created, you can put it into your lever panel and create a whole panel like what I showed you. Okay? And check in with this on a daily basis. All right? It can be a daily thing. I use this and I literally use this and I still have the first lever that I created in my mind. And now when I go into my lever, I call it my lever universe. I have like this entire place that I enter into and it's filled with levers. It's endless. And I check in with them and I make sure that they're pushed all the way up, all the time. And you can even throw a lock on it. And I want you to be specific, everybody. This is a tool to take control of your life. So we are coming to an end of my presentation with you tonight. But once again, I wanted to go over this one more time with you kind of quickly, okay? Now, there may be something in your own life that you want to create a lever for, Okay, it could be anything. There's no right or wrong here. It could be that I want to go running every day. I really would like to start exercising every day. Well, okay. Remember, first, the whole thing about choice that we went through and understanding that concept, which you'll learn to work with the more that you understand that concept. Then we create a lever. It could be a running lever. Make it a running lever and push that lever to the top. And it's like every day you get up and like you don't go running, the lever's not going to be up, right? So you're just going to keep pushing it up. You're going to create that intuitive notion within yourself to keep checking in on something that you programmed, and you're going to keep on working with it. And this will help the subconscious on a very, very deep level start programming your external reality. Because remember, the internal reality is truly what is, and the external is just a reflection, okay? So we're going to make the levers along with your visual perception. Once the lever is programmed, we're going to scan it in the mind's eye. Can you explain the point of the lock on the lever, the lock to keep it from going down? Yes, I will totally touch base on that. If the lever doesn't seem to go up or doesn't stay up, figure out what's blocking it, remove the block. Removing the block is a big deal. Okay, the more that you sit with this lever in that space where it's created, you'll learn what the block is. It'll just come to you. You're like, what is stopping me from having this conversation? Where's the fear coming from? Why? It's like I was driving to their house to sit down with them and talk to them, and I went to get food instead. Why did that happen? You'll figure it out. The answer is within you. Whenever the lever is created, place it in your lever panel. Create a system of levers. It's a really fun thing to work with. It really is. And it doesn't take much. You could be driving down the road. Oh, okay. Don't be driving, closing your eyes, looking at your levers. To me, I think about it when I'm driving because it's almost like it's turned into a feeling, and I can see them without my eyes closing anymore. But in the beginning, it takes a lot of work with your eyes shut. So before you drive, if you want to check on a lever, just quick for 30 seconds, close your eyes, check in on your levers, push it to the top, make sure they're up, and go on with your day. Getting back to the point of the lock, okay? The lock is like internal insurance. Sometimes we can have some doubt in our mind, and it's like doubt is really deep. Doubt can really linger from childhood, from all sorts of strange places, okay? And when we have a lever, sometimes like a really hard conversation, for instance, that we've been talking about, you might have some doubt. I don't know if I'm going to have that. Well, some internal insurance that I want to program into my life, I'm going to put a lock around that. I'm going to put 2 locks around it. I'm going to wrap a rope around it. I'm going to do all sorts of stuff. You'll find that when you start to work with this, it really takes off and you develop a whole system inside of your own self. And no one's telling you what to do. This starts that intuitive nature within yourself, and it creates like a whole thing. Remember, I don't use a tool. I want to give you the clay, okay? I'm throwing clay at you right now. If you guys take it, you can mold it, all right? You are the masters of your own life, okay? So, one thing before I end is, please, if you really want to work with this tool and the choice step that I told you tonight, it will take work. It will take a little bit of discipline. Every night, tapping into this for 5-10 minutes will really help you in your journey. The whole world talks about meditation now. The whole world's connected now that the whole world has the internet. And we know what each others are thinking before we think it, because it's already across the world in 30 seconds. But what is meditation? There's a million different kinds of meditations out there. There's so many styles and things to do, and people complaining that it doesn't work for them, and but this is something that you can develop and work with, and it will grow within you. And before you know it, you sat inside of your own self, creating your own reality for like 20, 30 minutes. It will take off for you, and you will learn to enjoy it. I'm not saying this is for everybody, but it is a good chance to, it's a good thing to give a chance. All right. So thank you for attending, everyone. Here is my, my information. If you would like, I would love some feedback from all of you. If you want to shoot me an email and let me know what you thought, there's my website. And this coaching support group runs every month. And some of us in the coaching support group, every now and then, we will give a presentation, and we bring other people in to give presentations. So we really appreciate your attendance tonight. And I look forward to being in the universe with you as we all go through change. Okay? So thank you so much. I'm going to go ahead and stop my screen share now.
All right, thank you, Michael. Does anybody still have a question for Michael at this point? You can unmute yourself and ask a question.
Yes, I'm open for questions. It could be anything that you personally want me to expand on, anything you may not have understood, anything at all. I can expand on it for a minute or two. We have a few minutes that we have for questions.
Hi, Michael, I have a question.
Yes.
Hi.
Who's speaking?
Tina.
Tina, awesome.
Hi. So my question is, with what you just described with using levers, specifically with communication, it seemed as if you're talking about getting yourself to a place where you will be able to communicate with somebody in person.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So could you take that concept and use it? So maybe you're not going to physically have a conversation with somebody, but could you, so you're going to work on improving communication in that relationship with somebody, but maybe you're not going to actually communicate with them. You're going to change the energy around it. Could that
Absolutely.
Be? Okay.
100%. That's a broader sense. That's like the true nature. And to really understand these concepts, sometimes it's easier to pick something specific, but that's the broad essence of communication. And absolutely, you can do that. And you'll be able to tap into that lever every now and then and see where it's at. And you'll see a lot of times, once that lever is programmed, that it kind of equalizes to what you already know.
Okay.
And then it just is a reinforcement. But yes, absolutely.
Because I find sometimes people they want to better something, a situation or a relationship, but it's a real stumbling block to say you have to go have that communication in person with somebody, or, write them a letter. They don't even want to do that. So just when you were talking, that's kind of what flew into my brain.
Absolutely. The reason I picked communication is because it's such a powerful, powerful thing to have clear in our life. When we can be transparent, the communication becomes without question. The communication's there but in the beginning, once I said about changing the inertia, if we're working on changing the communication with someone, sometimes if we have that something we want to say and it's impossible to get out, when that happens, the communication itself will change. But before we get the strength or the mobility within us to be able to do it, we can work on the overall communication. But it does come to a tip of the spear. And when we have the strength within us to do it, it will change everything.
Great. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Tina. Anybody else? What time are we normally done Q&A, B? Oh, you're muted.
Yeah, about 10 more minutes or so.
Okay.
So we have time if anyone has questions.
Perfect.
But if we get earlier done, it's okay.
All right. Well, if anybody else has anything else they would like, John B asked how long I was in the military. I served an enlistment with the Marines from 2000 to 2013. Anybody else?
That's quite a long time, Michael. I'm impressed. Thank you
It
for
went
your
by-
service.
Went by quick. Hey, but that coming out of that is these levers are something that I used to let go of some of the old things that weren't working for me. And like, if you ask the man that I was about love and compassion and things that, oh no, I'm sorry. I was in from 2010 to 2013. I was in 3 years. Sorry, guys. I was wondering, yeah, only 3 years. I got medically put out a little early. So, but anyway, so this lever, when I came across these concepts, these are what I used to grow the things in my life that I wanted to grow. Can you explain the difference between allowing versus surrendering? Sure. So I would say allowing is kind of along with surrendering. Normally, allowing is on the other side of like the resistance. So when I say allowance, it's kind of balancing the allowance versus resistance in our life. It's like we want to do something, but we're not quite in that place where it's without discipline and it's without like a little bit of force within our mind. So we have to resist in order to get something done. And then another time we just have to allow what wants to happen. So it's a balance within your life. Like I want to stop, me personally, I want to stop eating chocolate every day. You know what I mean? It's like, one day I'm going to put a little resistance in and I'm not going to eat it. 4 days go by, I'm going to allow a little bit. And it's a balance in the pendulum. And the falling into surrender, that's a state of being that I talk about. I have a talk that starts off like this and it goes into that in something else that I do. And the state of surrender is literally surrendering from the ego. And it's completely letting go of everything that we think we are or what we have learned to be. And it's when the generative potential within us is able to come out. And it's to allow, how do I word this? It's to allow who you truly are to come out. Because remember, we've been institutionalized. We have been told what to do since like we came out. We have been just spoon-fed information. But now when we kind of wake up to some things, we can choose what we want to learn and choose what we want to do instead of we do it without knowing why we do it. And we keep questioning and we keep expanding ourselves, and then we can fall back into a state of surrender and let go of everything that we think we are. Here's the book again, Tina. This is a book called The Kabbalion. This is the Kabbalion that I would recommend. It's very, it's written in a particular way. You'll have to get used to reading it. Oh, awesome, B. B's on top. And here's the other one. This is a much easier read. Yeah, John B talks about learning and letting go of some pretty huge blocks in his life. It's all about when we want to let go of some real heavy stuff in our life. He talked about it was an emotional roller coaster ride as my ego has been largely broken down and my securities are broken down. When you know that the ego is being broken down, we know that we're on the right path. That's pretty much like it's a good sign. And then in that state of being, we learn to be uncomfortable. We get comfortable with being uncomfortable. And pretty soon, we, John B, specifically for the ego, when the ego truly starts to get broken down, it's not always going to be like that feeling of like, spiraling down. Once we get into a place, we'll be able to put the ego in our pocket, because the ego, it's very necessary. It's very important. Some people are like, oh, they talk about the ego like it's not a part of them. It's us, but it's an essence of us. So we have to learn to work with it. And we have to learn who's in control. So there will come a point when these breakdowns and emotionals, roller coasters that you go through, they even out, and it will come into some steady waters. So just some words of something that I've been through. So, all right, we have time for one more if anybody has something. Anybody else? Yes, John B., I'll have to say that your intuition is something that you will learn to rely on more than anything, and it will pull you out of anything.
Oh, yeah.
So if that is it, everyone, I'm going to depart and let who's next take over. But thank you so much for attending.
All righty. Thank you, Michael, so much. There was lots of thank yous. I think it was a great insight, and we all appreciate your delivery today, very much about intuition and inner self and opening up that extra space. And so that was very helpful. Thank you.